Hello everyone, today we're going to be taking a look at Sonic Adventure 2. It's actually Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, but who cares?
Sonic Adventure 2 was released in 2001 for the Dreamcast, but nobody bought it on the Dreamcast. They bought the 2002 re-release for the GameCube, which is the one we're looking at today. So, what do I think of this game? I sort of like it, but I mostly hate it. If I was making this video a few years ago, it would get a ton of hate, but recently it's sort of become cool to hate Sonic Adventure 2. Now, before you say I'm just jumping on the bandwagon, I've had a love-hate relationship with this game for years. Let me just get it out of the way right now. I used to be a huge Sonic fan. In fact, I even attended the Summer of Sonic convention a few years ago. Hell, I even used to be on a Sonic forum a few years ago as well. Why was I such a huge Sonic fan? I honestly don't know, because looking back, I don't understand why I liked the franchise so much at that point. Just remember, I like this franchise though. Firstly, let's talk about the story. Most reviews of this game try to explain the story in a lot of detail, so I'll just kind of skim over it briefly. Eggman invades a gun base while spouting exposition. You know, like a normal person. Eggman then frees Shadow, the ultimate life form. If he's the ultimate life form, then why is he a fucking hedgehog? So, Shadow and Eggman agree to work together. Shadow tells Eggman to meet him on the Space Colony Ark. When the two meet there, Shadow says that they need the 7 Chaos Emeralds to create the Eggman Empire. At around the same time, Knuckles meets Rouge the Bat, who is also looking for Master Emerald pieces and the Chaos Emeralds. Also, why did Sega sexualize a bat? I thought the tiger in Tai was bad, but Rouge is just ugh. It's gross and it's weird. Shadow then causes some trouble in the city, and we learn about a girl that was close to him years ago named Maria. Not long after, Sonic and Shadow briefly meet, but Shadow leaves using Chaos Control.
Say something, you fake hedgehog!
Chaos Control!
Sonic then fights a gun robot and gets arrested because they think Shadow is Sonic. I don't know how when they're two completely different fucking colours, but there you go. Maybe that plot point is addressed in Sonic colours. Eggman and Shadow meet Rouge, who wants to help them get the Chaos Emeralds, and she knows that 3 of them are in a gun base on Prison Island. When the trio make it to the island, Eggman decides that they'll blow up the island once they get the Chaos Emeralds. At around the same time, Tails heads to Prison Island to free Sonic. He meets Amy, who is also trying to free Sonic, but she's being held hostage by Eggman. Tails manages to free her though. Also, Prison Island? They couldn't come up with a better name. Anyway, Sonic is freed by Amy, so the 3 decide to go after Eggman, Shadow and Rouge. Sonic makes his way through the forest of Prison Island and encounters Shadow. The two briefly fight and Sonic learns that the island is going to blow up.
Blows up?
Shadow quickly saves Rouge, who is stuck in the gun base with the Chaos Emeralds. Shadow saves Rouge because she reminds him of Maria, but he's quick to deny it and claims that he did it only for the Chaos Emeralds. Knuckles eventually joins the others and they make their way towards Eggman's base in the desert. Eggman also tries to kill Sonic by discussing trade negotiations. Seriously though, Eggman uses a huge golem to try and take out Sonic, which leads to one of the funniest scenes in the entire game. Oh, I forgot to mention that Eggman blows up the moon. How could I forget? Knuckles ditches the others for a while and has an encounter with Rouge, where she almost dies. Knuckles saves her and then the Master Emerald is restored. Not long after, Rouge discovers that Shadow was not the original Ultimate Lifeform, and it is revealed that Rouge works for Gun. At around the same time, Sonic and Tails try to save Amy, who is being held hostage by Eggman. Eggman demands Sonic hand over the Chaos Emerald, which is actually a fake one. I just realised that I completely forgot about the fake emerald. Basically, Tails made a fake emerald earlier. Sonic begins walking towards Eggman but gets trapped inside a capsule and begins to plummet towards the earth, so Sonic uses Chaos Control despite having never done so before. Sonic and Shadow then have one final confrontation where they try to hear one another over the obnoxiously loud music.
You actually saved me, you know.
It was a Chaos Emerald, wasn't it? But there's no way you could have activated the Chaos Control using an emerald that's fake.
That brings me to one of SA2's biggest issues, which is the sound mixing. In the cutscenes, characters sometimes talk over each other and get drained out by the music. You could argue for the former that people in real life talk over one another, but people in real life usually don't finish their sentences while somebody talks over them.
What the?
Is everyone alright? We should be landing soon!
The hatch doors are
Don't
open!
sweat it, Knuckles. The only thing in the cargo bay are those
What do you
Master
mean, don't
Emeralds.
sweat it?
Right?
Land the
Knock
shuttle
it
and
off,
let me
Knuckles.
out!
We're gonna crash this thing if you keep that up. Oh no! Don't touch that lever! Ah!
Once all of the Chaos Emeralds are collected, the Ark begins to crash towards the Earth and a message from Gerald Robotnik plays. He wants revenge on all the people living on Earth. Eggman realizes that this is not what Shadow promised, so the two sides decide to team up to stop the Ark from crashing and defeat a space lizard. Shadow, who was initially happy that the Ark was going to kill millions of people, has a change of heart when Amy says something to Shadow that sounds familiar to something Maria once told Shadow. This leads to Shadow trying to fight it alone, but
It's no use!
so Sonic and Shadow decide to place the Chaos Emeralds in a conveniently placed shrine and begin to jerk off. I mean, turn into their super forms, whilst Knuckles watches from a distance and wishes he was turning Super too. In the next game, Knuckles, in the next game. Sonic and Shadow then have an epic battle with the Space Lizard, and then Shadow dies. But don't worry, he comes back in the next game and becomes one of the most overused characters in the series. In fact, he even gets his own game with guns and vehicles, which, you know, everyone wanted. Am I right, guys? No? Oh, okay. Looks like I didn't skim over the plot after all. Let me just say right now that I know I missed some things here and there. This story isn't the easiest to follow and I know I've messed up in a few places. Let's talk about Shadow for a minute. In this game, you see his character change. He starts off as a mysterious and evil character, but as you learn more about him, you realise that he hates humans for a reason. Seeing his character have a change of heart near the end of the game is great. Seeing him help the others save the world was great and made his death meaningful. Shadow redeemed himself as a character and died to save his new friends, which is why I hate that they brought him back. Personally, I feel like bringing Shadow back in Heroes and future installments completely ruined the point of the character. I could go on about this, but it's a topic for another time. One thing I didn't mention is that the story is told through two separate stories that intertwine. You have the hero story and the dark story. You also have the last story, which is the story where the two groups team up, as I discussed earlier. My biggest problem with this story is that it takes itself far too seriously. This is a game about a blue hedgehog who runs fast and jumps on things. I personally don't want an overly complex and serious plot. Now, I'm not saying a serious story in a Sonic game cannot work, but Sonic Adventure 2 doesn't do it right. The story for the most part keeps a consistent tone, which is good, but then you get moments such as Eggman blowing up the moon and Sonic using metal from a helicopter as a skateboard, which seem completely out of place. I think that's enough story discussion for today. When I first played this game back in 2009, I liked the speed and mech levels but hated the treasure hunting ones. Now, I only like Sonic and Shadow's levels. There's really no point in me telling you this stuff if you don't even know how they play. Sonic and Shadow run fast. You know, like a Sonic game. You run around jumping on enemies, spin dashing, light dashing, singing along to City Escape. Wait, what? You know, typical 3D Sonic stuff. You collect upgrades throughout these stages. In fact, you collect upgrades this way for every character. Sonic has 7 levels while Shadow has 4. Most of the levels are very good. Sonic has good levels such as City Escape, where you run and escape for a city and get chased by a huge truck. Green Forest, a stage with tons of multiple pathways and some basic platforming that doesn't slow down the stage too much. And Final Rush, a level which mostly consists of rail grinding and cool shortcuts. And these things. I hate these things. Shadow has some great levels such as Radical Highway, a stage where you run through a highway at night time that is filled with blimps and rockets. You know, normal highway things. And Skyrail, a stage set high in the sky with loads of shortcuts, hidden secrets and rail grinding. However, both characters have some weak stages. Pyramid Cave is a boring and slow Sonic level that mostly has boring switch puzzles, and Final Chase is a Shadow level filled with these annoying gravity things that are often quite glitchy and ruin the level as a whole. Also, more of these things. These things are so annoying and they are often placed in some of those annoying and cheap spots. However, you can pull off some pretty cool tricks in this stage, and trying to get an A rank is a tough but fun challenge. Overall, I find the Sonic and Shadow stages the most fun to play, and whilst they do have some bugs, I always get through this platform in Final Rush, I do find a lot of enjoyment from them. Tails and Eggman use mechs. This makes sense for Eggman as he's a fat shit who can barely walk. Seriously, look at this guy, he waddles like a fucking penguin. Wait a minute, Eggman is faster than Sonic. I take my statement about Eggman back. Seriously, why isn't this game called Eggman Adventure 2? Why is Tails in a mech? What were they thinking? Remember Tails in Sonic Adventure 1? You got to fly around and race Sonic to the Chaos Emeralds. Sure, the controls weren't the best, but it was way more enjoyable than this shit. All you do is hold down B and occasionally jump or hit switches. There's nothing to this, it's boring. However, I do think that some of the Eggman levels are decent. The Tails levels though, they all suck. The issue with these stages is that they are often quite long. Stages such as Cosmic Wall can often go on for far more than 10 minutes, and these stages are fun for maybe 3 or 4. Most of my problems with these levels come from their length. The gameplay is repetitive but fun in short bursts, which is something the game doesn't seem to realise. And now... Knuckles and Rouge. In these levels you have to collect 3 pieces of the Master Emerald and 3 Chaos Emeralds in one level. These levels are big mazes and the radar only tracks one piece of the emerald at a time. Remember how in Sonic Adventure 1 the game actually told you when you were close to any emerald piece? Well, in this game you have to collect them in the order the game wants you to, because that's not fucking stupid. Also, the emerald pieces are randomized, because that's fun. I do think that the Knuckles stages as a whole are far better than the Rouge ones. I found stages such as Wild Canyon and Pumpkin Hill to be enjoyable, and whilst I wouldn't play them over stages such as City Escape and Skyrail, I still found some fun in them. Rouge's final level is called Mad Space. Mad Space is the worst level in this entire game. This level is huge. You roam around the outside of the Ark and can go up the side of the Ark or onto these small planet-like things that have their own gravity. The gravity makes Rouge control really badly. Sometimes you can't climb things properly and it's just really annoying. Now, remember how I said that the emerald pieces were randomized? Well, the game does give you some hints as to where the emerald pieces are through these computer monitors. So, what does this large and confusing level do? Make the hints useless, of course. How do they do that? By making the hints tell you what not to do. Now, there are hints that do tell you what to do in the level, but they're written backwards and fade within about 5 seconds, which makes them completely useless. Not even the theme of this stage can save it, as you'll tire of it after about 5 minutes. Now, let's actually talk about the soundtrack. It's amazing. SA2 has one of the best soundtracks in the series. Wow, I've just realised I've praised the soundtrack of every game I've reviewed. The soundtrack is very varied, covering multiple genres such as rock, rap and jazz. Live and Learn also stands out as one of, if not the best vocal Sonic song ever. Who doesn't love the Eggman theme? All of the character themes in this game are great, except Amy's. I don't like Amy's. Shadow's is pretty annoying too. Okay, so maybe not all of them. And who could forget Pumpkin Hill? A huge guilty pleasure, but one I can't get enough of.
Cause I have no fear. This probably seems crazy, a graveyard theory. Our ghosts try to approach me and got leery. Ask him a question and he vanished in a second. I'm walking through valleys, crying pumpkin in the alley. Didn't seem happy, but they sure tried to get me. Had to back them up with a fist metal crackle. I'm hearing someone saying, you a chicken, don't be scared. It had to be the wind, cause nobody wasn't there.
And that's Sonic Adventure 2. No, I haven't forgotten anything. No, really, I haven't forgotten anything. Okay, fine. Sonic Adventure 2 also has a mode called the Chao Garden. As you play through the game, you collect Chaos Drives and animals. You can use these to level up Chao, which are these little animal things. I just don't see the appeal of this. Isn't the point of a Sonic game to go fast? Why would I play Chao Karate? And now I'm going to delete a Chao. I know what you're feeling right now. Anger, hate, it's building up inside you. Your hand grips the mouse as you move it towards the dislike button. You begin to scroll down to type an angry comment, but then you realise something. You want this. You want to see me delete this Chao because deep down, it makes you feel good. Whilst I don't like the Chao Garden, it does add a lot to this game. It adds even more replay value to a game that is filled with content. Each level has 5 missions. To get 100% completion, you need to beat all of these missions with an A rank and get all of the Chao related emblems. If you do this, you will unlock Green Hill Zone. That's right, a full recreation of Green Hill Zone from Sonic 1, but in 3D. Pretty cool, right? I've never done it myself, but it does seem like a worthy prize in my opinion. So that was Sonic Adventure 2. This is just my opinion, and if you love the game then that's awesome. I do think there is enjoyment to be found from it. In fact, I had more fun playing this than Ty, as I actually finished the game for like the 3rd time compared to Ty where I couldn't even finish my first playthrough. So perhaps I like it a little more than I think I do. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy it then make sure to like and subscribe, and as always, I will see you next time.